To Lam, the General Secretary of the Communist Party of Vietnam Central Committee and Vietnamese President, started his 3-day state visit to China on Sunday. And China was the first country he visited since elected as General Secretary. And he arrived in Guangzhou in the morning, and in the evening yesterday, he arrived to Beijing. And joining us today is 2 of the Vietnamese students who received him at the airport. Can you wave at the camera? So how was it seeing your president?
Very excited, very kind of proud of myself. Yeah.
Very excited, very proud. And you,
Yeah,
Han?
it's a wow because it's my first time saw my president.
Sure, you guys took some photos and videos. Can you show us any particular videos and photos that you've taken?
Okay, so maybe first I'll share my photo. You can see Minister Wong was in the photo. I was super surprised because usually for this kind of state event, there would be just Prime Minister to go to the airport to welcome. But this time, Minister Wang was there. I can see the highest level of...
and showing the significance and importance relationship between China and Vietnam, right?
Yeah.
So that was the moment he was walking towards the plane?
Yeah, that was when he walking from that waiting room to the plane to welcome our President To Lam. Yeah.
Nice, very, very nice. Han, and any photos, any videos you want to show us?
Oh yeah, this is our pictures. I'm wearing Vietnamese traditional dress called áo dài, and Dung is wearing suit. Yeah, and we having Vietnam flag and China flag. Yeah.
Very, very, very nice. How many people were there yesterday?
I think it's around 50 or 60 people, including Vietnamese citizens here, as well as Vietnamese students studying in
Nice.
Beijing.
How would you describe the atmosphere yesterday?
Everybody was really excited and can't wait to see our president in person and welcome him to this first trip.
Nice. And any more photos or videos you want to show us?
Maybe one more photo of our president, Madam, when they walked out from the plane. Yeah. We were super close to the
I
president.
can tell you're almost on the red carpet.
It was just like 1.5 meters from the president. Yeah.
How did it feel when the president walked past?
It's like the very first time.
Have you seen the president up close before?
Not really. This is my first time being that close to a top figure of Vietnam. So I'm kind of nervous at first, but then he was very nice and waving at us. So yeah, that was a very excited feeling.
And in this video, I said, "Hi, Mr. President," like that in Vietnamese, and like, chào bác, yeah. And I feel very proud. Yeah.
It was almost like, so that was a still photo and that was the video, that was the moment.
Yeah.
And we can also hear like, how much the atmosphere, right?
The
how much the warm welcome there is as well.
Yes.
And any other photos, any other videos you want to show us?
This one is the soldier. They walk inside, and I feel very fantastic. Yeah.
So that's the People Liberation Army, right? To welcome them. Have you seen them? So there's similar parade in Vietnam too.
Yeah. To welcome top officials.
But I would imagine you haven't seen that.
Yeah, I haven't seen that before.
You see it on TV a lot of times.
It feels very
surreal, right?
Yeah.
First
And I
time
speak
in
less.
person.
Yeah.
Do you share this joy or share the moment with anyone?
Yeah.
With my family, of course.
family.
What was it like speaking with your family and sharing that
Yeah,
moment?
and they're very excited. They more excited than me.
I can imagine.
And they walk in the neighbor and say, "Oh, hi, my daughter, Yeah, she just met Mr. President." Like that, yeah.
So people, back home also is following the events as well.
Yes.
It's something that is well, known that the president is visiting China.
I think people in Vietnam are also very looking forward for this trip of President To Lam because essentially this is his first trip to a foreign country since he became the Secretary of Communist Party of Vietnam. So we believe that this trip will have significant impact on Vietnam relationship with China. Yeah.
How about you? Like, what have you been hearing from like Vietnamese youth about this visit? Any expectation?
Somebody just saw me on the TV.
Oh wow!
Yesterday.
You're on TV.
And they sent me the photo.
Yep.
Yeah, and I feel very. This is a big
big moment.
big
right?
moment,
It's
yeah,
a big
and
moment,
big
big
event.
event. Everyone is following it
everyone.
in Vietnam, but
Yes.
same in China as well.
Yes.
There's a lot of expectation. Can you talk a little bit more? You mentioned about, there's a lot of expectation amongst, Vietnamese and young people as well.
I heard from the embassy that there are more than 200 or 300 officials is accompanying President To Lam to China, ranging from economics, transport, like finance and technology, a lot of different factors. So I think we can believe that there will be a lot of collaboration, a lot of new plan that will happen at this trip of President To Lam. Yeah.
So this is not just a simple greetings and saying hello, but there's a
Yeah.
lot of in-depth collaboration in multiple different areas, as you
Yeah.
mentioned as well. So let's take a step back and talk a little bit about both of you to get to know a little bit about both of you as well. So both of you are currently studying in China in Peking University. So I wonder, how long have you been in China? How long have you been in China?
I've been in China for about 2.5 years now.
2 years
Yeah.
and a half. But you're doing your master degree. So
Yeah.
where do you study before this?
I did my undergrad in Moscow, Russia.
In Moscow, in
Yeah.
Russia. So not in Vietnam either. So
Yeah.
you did your high school in Vietnam
Yeah.
and then moved to Moscow, Russia to study your undergrad and then to China, Beijing for your postgraduate degree. Why? Why the switch? Why initially go to Russia and
So right after my high school, I got the government scholarship to study Russia, and studying abroad has always been my dream. So I took that opportunity to try different culture, to live in another city, and also to learn from another education system. So I think that is a very unique opportunity for me. Russia is very calm and tranquil. I think I really like the life there. But for my major, computer science, I think China would be somewhat more suitable because basically the tech industry here is very developed, and the major that I am follow right now is more developed in China, and we have more opportunities.
so you always wanting to study abroad and then you chose Russia initially, but then because of your major, you end up choosing Peking. How will you describe the experience? I'm very, very curious. Have you been to Russia?
And
No.
I've never been to,
I'm
so
very,
I
very
want
curious.
to know.
Like, what is it like studying in Russia and studying in China? What are some of the differences?
Yeah.
I think in studying Russia gives you a very profound knowledge in terms of the basic knowledge, and on top of that, you can be built upon that. But in China, it really gives you the experience to explore more about your field, your research interest, very niche direction that you cannot find in any other countries.
Any special sort of interesting story that you can share with us?
Yeah, so currently I am doing artificial intelligence for
Yep.
robots. So, working with robots, we need to work in both hardware and software, and China is basically one of the biggest manufacturer in the entire world. And anytime we need to do experiment on some specific robot, we can directly contact with the manufacturer, that company, and they can support it right away. I think that kind of support you cannot find in any country.
So the holistic supply chain,
Yeah,
right?
It's very
from
well
ideas to
established.
the pilot
Yeah.
to implementation.
Yeah,
itself.
everything can be done in a very fast manner, and you can approach any manufacturer, any company, and they are very welcome and they can support it right away.
How do you see the development of robotics and AIs in Vietnam and in China?
I think there are a lot of opportunity for cooperation, especially when the AI community and the AI industry in Vietnam is also growing at a very fast pace. And I think both in terms of industry and academia, we can cooperate. Vietnam also need a lot of facilities and a lot of hardware. We can buy them from China, meaning that we can create more jobs and opportunity. At the same time, in terms of academia, university can also cooperate to do research, and in this field we believe that diversity is key. So when different mindset, different culture collide, extraordinary thing will happen.
Do you use AI in your work? How do you see AI impacting, for example, your study, etc.?
Yeah, it's helped me a lot. I think AI will they will provide a lot of information and a lot of work for us to make our work become less.
There's more efficient, there's
Yeah.
more
Yeah,
effective
more
in this.
effective.
But would it be so effective that your job will be replaced? Because currently you study teaching Chinese,
Yeah.
right? We'll talk a little bit more about that. But you know, people are also using AI, using robotic to help
yeah.
learn new things, particularly languages. So what's your advice to her? Like from an AI expert to a
I think
a teacher professional.
AI will be a very efficient tool if you know how to use it in the right way,
Yeah.
and it would give you more time to do more creative things, and AI will help you do some tedious and
So
re-
AI and
repetitive
robotics
things.
can
Yeah.
help to do the repetitive work, but we
Yeah.
still need teachers.
Yeah.
Thank you
We
so
still
much.
need the emotional value
Yeah.
and support as well. So talking about AI and collaboration, I know you involved recently in something quite exciting with your university as well, right?
The School of Computer Science at Peking University. We plan to have a trip to Vietnam top universities like the Hanoi National University to establish new cooperation in terms of doing research in AI. And I also help them to reach out and have some connection with the professors there, and also make sure that their trip will be successful and new collaboration will happen.
Is
in the
there
future.
much, you know, academic exchange and research collaboration between Vietnam and China, and what do you hope to do more of in the future?
I think personally the environment as well as the facility opportunity in China is very good, and at the same time we have a lot of smart and diligent students in Vietnam looking for the opportunity to do research overseas, and I think with that cooperation we really can create better things.
And of course,
for
you
research.
is one of the example, right? Doing research overseas as well, and hopefully bringing more students. And of course, studying abroad, the essence of that is language. So coming to you then. So you came here initially to China to study language,
Yeah.
Chinese literature.
In 2017.
2017. So instead of 2 years, you've been staying here for at least 7 years.
On and
now.
off.
What drew your interest to China initially?
At first, it's my dad idea. It was
Okay.
my dad idea.
It's always like this. It's a parent's idea. Was it your parents' idea to study in Moscow?
I'm kind of free to choose my
Wow.
my next location, but yeah, they also have some kind of expectation, but not.
There's some expectation, you have a little bit more autonomy, but for
Yeah.
you, your parents kind of say this is a good thing, go do it, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned it was your decision to study abroad in Russia and then
Yeah.
to China. I wonder what is it like telling your parents and your friends that you are going to study abroad, you're going to come to China. What are some of the things they say?
At first, they were kind of surprised with my decision, because usually if you went to one country to study, you will stick to that country till the end of your study program. But I think this is my time to really choose the right place for me to be in, to really got the experience to the technology or to the research I want to follow. And first they were kind of surprised, but then they also support me on this journey. I got a lot of support from my families and my friends. They are always looking forward to the new goal that I set and try to achieve.
I know, Han, you mentioned, of course, your parents are very, very supportive of you studying in China. But what do people in general in Vietnam, particularly young people, think about China? What is the impression of China? And what was it like you coming to China? Was those true, or was there surprises in there as well?
Yeah, because I came here like early.
Yeah.
At that time, not a lot of people know about going China to study abroad.
Yeah.
And when
So
I
even
told,
7 years ago, it wasn't that
Yeah.
popular.
Yeah.
Okay.
and a lot of my relatives asked me like, oh, why you pick China? And I said, because I just love the culture. Then I just go.
I think
Yeah.
it's getting more and more popular now.
Yeah, it's like
And among the young generation to go to China to study.
So it's increasingly more and more popular for young Vietnamese to choose China as a study abroad destination.
Yeah, I think because of the C-drama and C-pop is now really popular in Southeast Asia, so that make a lot of young people want to know more about China.
C-pop, C-drama, what are they? Tell me a little bit.
It's Chinese pop
Okay.
and Chinese drama.
Okay, so Chinese music and Chinese TV dramas as well. So it seems like you're very, very excited. I just want to validate if this is true as well.
For me, it's not just the pop culture. I'm also into the traditional music of China. It's more like the fusion between the like young generation music and the old generation music. Somewhat make the mixture of it makes me think it is very interesting.
So the modern culture, but also the traditional culture part, even will attract young people and wanting to get them to know a little bit more about Chinese culture. I'm just surprised that Chinese drama and Chinese music is getting into Vietnam as well. You initially chose Guangzhou, and now you're in Beijing. So Guangzhou is in the southern part of China. I'm from Hong Kong, so it's right next to Hong Kong. So what are some of the differences between the southern part of China and the northern part of China?
Yeah, firstly is the food.
Yeah.
I prefer Guangzhou food more than Beijing food.
Dim sum, right?
Yeah, dim sum. And the next one is the weather. Because it's always hot in Guangzhou, but Beijing have 4 seasons, so it makes me feel like time passed really fast. So I need to do something.
Yeah. So you spoke about your parents asked you to come and study in China. What are some of the reasons and what are some of your reasons to continue to study in China as well?
Because my hometown is Long An, like it's next to Ho Chi Minh City. So there are a lot of Chinese factory and company go there. And have the business there. So if I learn the language, I can easily to find a job there. And my dad also do a tourism company. So if I know language, I can make more business with Chinese tourists.
So tourism is also, you mentioned, the tourism minister is also here. So like tourism is also very, very big between China and Vietnam. How will you describe Chinese tourist scene and development in Vietnam?
Yeah, because they love seafood, they love fruit, and our seafood and fruit is really cheap there.
I can see Zoom is imagining all the nice Vietnamese food in your head.
Yeah, I'm counting.
It's very, very nice. So you mentioned language because you study in Russia, so I assume you know Russian as well. And you're now studying in China, so you know Chinese. So you're kind of an expert of learning languages.
I think learning language is not purely you understand the language, but also understand the people, understand the country and the culture. One of the craziest thing that I never thought about is when I start to learn Chinese by myself, I got to understand more about my own language. It's very interesting. So in Vietnamese, we have a part of the vocabulary which is called Hanzi. So it's the
Chinese
character.
Right? But since we turned our system into Latino, so a lot of words is written in the same way, but I don't really understand the difference in their meaning. But when I trace back those words in Chinese, I saw the difference, and that can I understand my language even better.
I feel the
very
same.
Interesting. And for you, why you are interested in Chinese language?
At first, it's my dad decision, and then when the more I learn the language, the more I love the language and the people and the culture.
Very, very interesting indeed. Have you guys been traveling across? Tell me a little bit. It seems like you have been well traveled here.
Not that to that many places, but I think all of the places that I've been to China, they're very interesting. I've been to Shandong, I've been to Shenzhen, I've been to Xinjiang. Xinjiang is one of the best place that I've ever been to.
Tell us a little bit more.
I think this is one of the lifetime experience. So that trip of mine was organized by the university. So it's not the same same
touristic trip,
yeah,
right?
touristic trip that you can been to when you just travel and you don't really understand about the destination that you went to. But for this trip, we got to visit a lot of museums and really dive into the development and the history of Xinjiang, how the government really helped build a new face for Xinjiang, I think. Yeah, and I really love the food there.
So you've been able, yes, there's a very, very nice fruits as well,
Yeah.
right? So you have been to Xinjiang, but not just from a touristic perspective, but to be able to understand a little bit about the governance side.
Yeah.
As a computer science major, what draw your interest?
I think, especially when we've been to museum, a lot of high-tech devices were used to recreate the life in the past of Xinjiang and the life now, and we really immerse into that VR, AR environment. Really understand the living of the people.
So technology is not only help to modernize a region, but also help us to immerse ourselves to be able to see from the past.
Yeah, what it was
and,
like in
and
the
even
past.
to the future.
Yeah.
As well. That's very, very interesting. Han, have you been traveling a little bit in
Yeah,
China?
I think
what impressed you the most?
Okay, I've been traveling all the time here.
Yeah.
And the last trip I went to Inner Mongolia in July.
Okay.
With my summer school program
Yeah.
because I one of the assistant there.
Yeah.
And
You ride horses. And,
yeah, ride horses and eat lamb.
Yep.
Yeah, and we went to a factory of milk.
Yep.
Milk factory. It's called Meng Niu.
Yeah.
对. And it was very fantastic there because we can see how the products made, and all the students is very interested.
So it's a factory of dairy products,
Yeah,
right?
dairy.
Where you can see a lot of like the manufacturing side
Yeah.
that's happening. And any trip, it seems like most of the trip is for work. and any trip for fun that you have been to across. You've been to Shenzhen, right?
Yeah.
What is it like?
Shenzhen is a very dynamic cities and a lot of things going on there, especially in the tech industry, a lot of big techs. So I also got friends there who introduced me to those companies. I really got the chance to be inside one of the offices to see how people actually make impossible thing possible.
For fun, okay, Xi'an is my top one city.
Nice. So it's a central region of China, right?
Yeah, and because of the rich history, scenery and museum. Yeah.
There's many historical and cultural aspects.
Yes.
As well.
And the people there is very friendly. With,
So of course, this few days is all about Vietnam. So I want to close by asking, you guys been here for 2 years, for 7 years. What are some of the similarities in culture between China and Vietnam that you realize? What are some of the Vietnamese culture that you want to share with the rest of the world?
Okay, first I'm gonna talk about the similar because we have a lot of festival. It's the same with Chinese. For example, Mid Autumn and the New Year Spring Festival. Yeah.
We also follow the lunar calendar as well, right? So there's similar festival there. Yeah. What is your favorite?
My favorite one is Mid Autumn.
Yeah.
Because everyone gathering together and eat mooncake
It's
because
very, very
I love
family
mooncake.
art, mooncake. Yes, of course, that's very, very important.
Yeah.
What kind of message you might have for Vietnamese people in Vietnam that might be interested to come to China? What are some of the advice? What are some of the recommendations you have for them?
I think people in Vietnam, they really believe that China is a very new destination to travel. And we saw that in a lot of media, on our social medias, but not that many people got the opportunity to really travel to China. And I think they really should to understand China better and really feel how it's like to live in one of the biggest country in the world with the technology supported you in every aspect of life, from transport to pavement, finance, to everything. Even you want to rent a bike, it was super easy here, and really got to try that. I think people in Vietnam, they would have more inspiration to build up their business or how to make their lives better.
Very, very interesting. Han, any messages?
Yeah, I really want to write a book about my journey here.
I look forward to reading your book. What will be your book about? What would be the
Yeah,
name of the
because
book?
I always take photograph,
Oh, okay.
like everywhere I go, and I want to make a photography and write something about my experience here to make more young people, Vietnamese people come here to experience the same as mine.
Which is great. So hopefully we can welcome more Vietnamese youth, Vietnamese students from Vietnam to China and to experience what you have experienced as well. Thank you so much for joining us today for this episode of The Power of Youth. Until next time.
Thank you for having us.
Bye.
Goodbye.
See ya.
Goodbye.